of benefits in place, the work environment becomes more and more pleasant. Management should understand that stability is achieved only when people are satisfied, happy, and able to fulfill both their personal and professional goals. For this reason, workers at all levels should be encouraged to pursue a higher level of education and to dedicate company time to lifelong learning, professional development, and personal advancement. In conclusion, human resources are considered the most important resource of a learning organization, and for this reason should be treated as a precious resource which is difficult to replace. We have seen so far that learning organizations which successfully transform know-how into market value and advantage understand the singular value and contribution of their human resources. We have also seen that such organizations create a flexible and supportive working environment, an environment which is required for the process of know-how generation and its conversion or transformation into marketable value to take place. The third question we should analyze is this: what type of know-how must organizations generate so that they can prosper in today's globalized environment? The short answer to this question is rather simple. Organizations must generate know-how in all areas of activity. As you recall, know-how is a technical skill or the acquired ability to perform a task well. In the new millennium, it is not enough to possess only technical skills and to perform tasks well. Today, it is an imperative to possess absolutely the best technical skills and to perform all tasks better than the competition. To generate marketable value, organizations must acquire know-how in all areas of management. For example, management may work to create marketable value in product design, pricing strategy, service, innovation, image, social responsibility, production techniques, quality assurance, relations with strategic allies, and so forth. So, to become world-class, our organization must know its markets and its consumers' needs and expectations better than the competition. For example, a world-class organization will conduct regular consumer studies and will use all legal means at its disposal to learn about the competition and its future plans. It will also make a point of following the needs and purchasing behavior of younger consumers in order to determine future markets. Our organization must have better technological and administrative know-how than the competition. It must have better know-how for treating its human resources and other strategic partners well. And it must have the know-how to produce better quality products and services than the competition. The successful organization must have the know-how to perform a thorough information gathering and interpretation process. It must have the best information technology in place and a system in place for communication of the results. Our organizations must have a better know-how for a coherent decision-making process. Better decision-making means extensive personnel involvement in the process. Such involvement reduces resistance to change and motivates. Wide-range involvement also assures the best inflow and outflow of information and a rapid response to change. Our organizations must have the know-how to better personnel involvement. They must have the know-how to rapidly respond to the constantly changing business environment. In short, each and every organization must strive to constantly generate the best know-how that exists at a given moment in each particular organizational area. The prescription for sustained success is clear for all organizations. All must generate the absolutely best know-how. It is clear, however, that in today's fiercely competitive world, not all can be the best. Some organizations are going to have the kind of know-how necessary for the creation of strategic advantages, while other organizations are going to stay behind. The next question to address is why some organizations manage to generate the right kind of know-how and make it, while other organizations trail behind in know-how generation and, as a result, don't ever have a chance of making it. The short answer to this question is also simple. Organizations that make it have the right attitude, the right management, the right work environment, the right personnel mindset, the right products for the right markets, and the right working procedures and productivity indices. The cell phone industry provides many excellent examples of offering the right product at the right time to the right markets at the right price. For example, Nokia, the fast-growing cellular communications company that is currently in negotiations for the purchase of another communications giant, Qualcomm, has the right productivity level, the right level of innovation, and the right marketing plan. The cell phone industry also provides model examples for market survival dominance. As we all accept, the survival of an organization depends, as always, on the rightness of its products and on how well the organization manages its people and processes in today's rapidly changing environment. At the moment, there are many players in the cell phone industry. This situation is bound to change. Survival will be granted by the markets to those organizations like Nokia that do the right things correctly. I am sure that managers everywhere wonder what it takes to join the club of organizations that manage to transform the best available know-how into marketable edge. The answer is that it takes a lot of hard work, not just hard work, but rather hard work performed in the proper sequence. First and foremost, the entire organization, management and all employees must have the right mindset. Absolutely, best know-how generation must be a way of life for all. A strong will to succeed and a strong will to compete for consumer loyalty must be perceived at all levels. A strong commitment to having the best product and service quality as well as the best productivity level must exist. Interest in sustained success and moral yet aggressive conduct to achieve organizational goal must be preached and practiced. All those who comprise an organization must remember that vegetarians do not survive in the carnivorous universe of enterprise. That is, our organizations must be aggressive if they wish to keep growing competitively. Organizations that don't have an established vision and mission must start with a process of strategic planning. The expected result of this process is the establishment of a vision and a mission. Organizations with an established vision and mission must evaluate them periodically. Once the organization has established challenging yet realistic vision and mission statements and strategies, management must decide on policy matters. One of the most important policy decisions is how to select, treat, train, and retain dedicated human resources so the right work environment, one that is conducive to know-how generation, is developed. Other very important policy decisions have to do with future strategic partnerships. We accept that in the new millennium, it is and will continue to be quite impossible to go it alone. Based on the analysis done during the strategic planning process and on the identification of the existing relative strengths and weaknesses of the organization, management should decide on how best to ally itself with other organizations. Management may decide, for example, to specialize in marketing and sales, leaving the production process itself to a strategic ally. Equally legitimate could be a decision to concentrate on production when a SWOT analysis, for example, merits such a conclusion. Once all relevant policy matters have been resolved, management should concern itself with the task of internal organization. Internal organization is a key to success and, as such, requires management attention. While determining organizational structure, management must remember that lean is beautiful. The organizational structure should be as simple as possible with all communication channels open. Authority line must be logical and they must assure efficiency and effectiveness. Organizational structure must be light and dynamic. It should be designed in a way that best enables the fulfillment of the company's goals and objectives. Enterprises dominating the know-how of organizing efficiently and effectively, and organizations that know how to achieve the best organizational development clearly have a strategic advantage in the universe of global enterprise. This advantage may be transformed into marketable value and market edge. An efficient and effective organizational structure enables the efficient and effective execution of goals. The execution of delegated tasks and chores is another critical area where management guidance and follow-up is required. During the production process, important know-how is accumulated. If the right kind of know-how is to accumulate, management must ensure that delegated work is conducted in an environment conducive to know-how generation. During the production process, know-how accumulates in disciplines such as product or service design, product or service quality, control, productivity, technology, and so on. It is clear that organizations must have absolutely the best production know-how if they wish to prosper. Sustained prosperity is achieved when good quality products or services are continually being accepted by the consumer. This acceptance comes not at any price, but rather at a price level that represents, on the one hand, the best value for the consumer, and on the other hand, the best profit for the organization. This meeting point is often difficult to measure, calculate, or even estimate. Profound know-how of target markets and a deep understanding of market behavior and trends are a must. The intimate knowledge of consumers and their demands and expectations facilitates the provision of desired products and services, and thus the generation of sustained success. Management involvement is always required in marketing policy formulation. Such a policy will establish strategic goals, the complete satisfaction of the consumer, and the generation of the know-how that should be developed to do so. As seen so many times before in this area, the creation of work environment that is conducive to the generation of know-how in the areas of market assessment and marketing is a must. We have seen so far that know-how may be transformed into marketable value and market advantage only when the right mindset exists in the organization. A winning organization is a learning organization with a work environment conducive to the generation of best know-how. In world-class organizations, management considers human resources to be the most important resource. Management works hard to gather and analyze information, to set organizational policy, and to organize according to the established challenges. Management must also establish work procedures and goals, to follow up on market trends and conduct, to track the competition, and to follow sales performance and advancement. Management's tasks, responsibilities, challenges, and obligations are immense in the age of know-how. Indeed, in today's world, the question is how to proceed practically from the commonly encountered situation of a dormant and inefficient organization to a new organizational ambient of excellence and best know-how generation. It is clear that no management can assume all challenges and tasks at once. It is necessary to understand that a continual improvement process which involves changes in conduct and in the way people behave takes time, a long time. Our experience shows that the time needed for the implementation of a new organizational culture takes at least 3 years. This kind of time frame does not have to scare management. The journey towards becoming a world-class organization, one that is capable of generating know-how and of exploiting it to the maximum, must begin immediately. The sooner, the better. The process of transformation starts with an organizational management audit. We recommend using a critical success point audit. In such an audit, all particular and common critical success points are listed. Qualified auditors then use the list to evaluate all management areas. After the audit has exposed the organization's strengths and shortcomings, a work plan with a challenging time frame is prepared where the most critical shortcomings are addressed first. Such plans are executed with total management and worker involvement. Upon the completion of the first working plan, a new audit should be conducted and a new working plan should be reached for execution. This cycle of audits and the preparation and execution of working plans stimulates the organization. Success in a given working plan has tremendous motivational value for all. The continual success in the execution of working plans and the elimination of weaknesses and inefficiencies helps to create an environment conducive to best know-how generation and worker total commitment. As we have seen, the challenges are immense, and the work facing us, if we commit ourselves to the generation of sustained marketable value, is hard and long-term. On the other hand, we are all aware of the existence of proven old practices that can be used in all management areas. these tools include evaluation techniques, audits, motivation, production, marketing, information gathering and analysis, and so on. Now, the only open question is the question of commitment. Management must commit itself to sustain success through the generation of marketable value. Once a true commitment has been established, management must remember that each organization has its own personality. Each personality may require a different approach, a different velocity, a different path. Examples of true commitment are abundant. We all remember how Lee Iacocca transformed Chrysler with his commitment, leadership, and hard work. In work, we meet owners and managers with an extremely developed sense of mission who prosper against all odds. It is worthwhile to mention a widow in El Salvador who, unfamiliar with both management practice and production processes, took charge of a meat processing plant after the death of her husband. Her commitment to survive and prosper while protecting the interests of her workers and clients was the driving force behind her accelerated learning process, survival, and success. The commitment of the directors of a chemical plant in Uruguay that was taken over 20 years ago to prosper without government help positioned this organization in a leadership spot with regards to efficacy, efficiency, and consumer relations. I must add that 20 years ago in Uruguay, this approach was quite unique. Today, this organization prospers, while other organizations fight for their lives. As you can see, commitment is a must. It is clear that because of the diversity within the universe of enterprise, tailor-made programs must be established for the conversion of commitment into sustained success and prosperity. Organizations have many things in common. Normally, they enjoy the same opportunities in their market segments, and normally they are exposed to similar threats. Organizations have access to the same management tools and similar information sources. Organizations differ in their personalities, in their commitment to sustain success, and in their understanding of the needs and expectations of markets, of consumers, and of their strategic partners. It is a matter of decision where one wants to be. I recommend to all managers, regardless of enterprise size, geographical locations, product or service type, to undertake the commitment of sustained success through the generation of know-how. Managers and professionals in general know that success is not achieved overnight. It requires work, dedication, and time. Today, we have discussed the importance of generating know-how. You also have learned what it takes to be able to generate marketable value and what steps one should follow towards this end in any organization or in any productive endeavor. I am sure that many questions remain open, but I am also sure that answers will come to you naturally once your efforts have commenced. Let us begin.
Thank you, Dr. Malevski. Let us begin the first question and answer session. We will try to answer as many questions as possible. Therefore, we ask that only one question be asked per phone call, and that these questions be as brief as possible. You may call the studio directly at the phone numbers or fax which appear on your screen. We remind you to make your phone calls at a distance from the monitor to avoid feedback. Our first question is from Colombia, It is from la Federación Nacional de Comerciantes in Medellín, Colombia.
Good morning. This is our question. Know-how is closely linked to aptitude and to the attitude of the organization. Does an approach based on values help to make the organization grow and innovate?
Yes, of course. What we really need is the right aptitude, and you really are able to generate this aptitude if everyone in the organization is working towards this direction.
Our next question is from Spain. It is from la Universidad de Alicante in San Vicente, Alicante, Spain.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Pregunta para el señor Malevski.
This question is for Dr. Malevski. You said that the experience of an organization is measured by its ability to satisfy the customers, suppliers, workers, and investors. However, there's something that's going on in this globalization phenomenon, so that there are companies with negative results, with losses that have a high quotation of their stocks that go beyond what is reasonable and acceptable. Why is this happening, and what are the foreseeable results if we don't change this trend? Thank you very much from Alicante.
Well, this is an excellent question. What you see is in the stock market, many companies trading at values which are much higher than should be. But one should remember that we are talking about new economy stocks, and what the market is doing is really taking into account future sales. But the recent market corrections shows you that it is not going to last forever, and finally the market, the stock value will be reasonable.
Thank you. Our next question is from Brazil. It is from the Universidade de Pelotas, Ciudad Pelotas, Rio Grande do Sul, in Brazil.
Good morning. We know, Mr. Malevski, we know that the world economy is dominated by the organizations considered big. So the question is, how can a small organization fight against it, consider the know-how, the excellence?
Well, as you know, there are many niche markets, and for small organizations they are much better. You should remember that large organizations have many difficulties, and it takes them a long time to respond. Small organizations are really versatile, and they can respond very quickly, and for this reason a small organization should not be afraid of a large organization.
Our next question is from Argentina. It is from Coca-Cola FEMSA in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Muy buenos días.
Good morning. My question is, in such a competitive scenario where there's so much pressure about utilities and profits, how... ¿Puede repetir, por favor, señora, la pregunta? You achieve success when it's so competitive?
Well, this is exactly why you achieve success, because, you know, when you have to compete, then you really innovate. You know, necessity is really mother of all innovations, and for this reason I don't feel that pressure should really make you afraid. You should really feel that when you compete, you really become clear-minded and you are really able to innovate. So I feel that the scene is really given for a lot of innovation.
Our next question our next call is from Paraguay. Our next question is from la Universidad Americana in Asunción, Paraguay.
¿Cuál es su
La pregunta es la siguiente. ¿Cuál es su consejo para los
What do you advise for the young people in developing countries which would have a specific know-how but not the necessary capital for their projects and so forth, need strategic alliances? Thank you very much.
Well, this is exactly what we were trying to say before. Young people have a lot of, they have the necessity, they have the know-how. What they really need is money. And today there are many risk capital companies, and what they should be doing, they should really look for strategic alliance with those companies that have the risk capital necessary to develop the innovations.
Thank you for your questions. Let us now move to the second module of our program, in which Dr. Krishnamoorthy will present 2 interviews with high-ranking United Nations officials